Here's everything you need to know to be ready for the M+ launch on Blooddecay tomorrow. This is the talent build. The utility points are flexible, so choose between Gorefiend's Grasp or Abolimb, and Asphyxiate or Longer Grip option depending on the dungeon. Always start each pull with Death Caress from range, so you enter combat with Bone Shield, and try to stay at a minimum of 4 to 5 stacks of Bone Shield at all times. For your rotation, use Death Strike whenever you need healing, or when you go above 80 runic power so you don't overcap. Use Vampiric Strike whenever it's available, and use Blood Boil every time you get a boiling point proc. Follow your Blood Boils with the Death Strike whenever possible, especially when Hemostasis reaches 5 stacks. Then fill the rotation with regular Blood Boils and Heart Strikes. Your main defensives are AMS, Vampiric Blood, Icebound Fortitude, and Dancing Rune Weapon. Use AMS against as many magic attacks as possible. Vampiric Blood has the highest uptime because it gets a lot of cooldown reduction, so you'll want to use this at the start of pulls. Icebound Fortitude is your regular 2-minute wall for pulls where you're scared of dying, and Blooddecay has a ton of defensives, but it's important that you plan this accordingly and don't overlap them. Your biggest cooldown is Dancing Rune Weapon. It gives you 30% parry, better Bone Shield generation, it summons a Blood Beast, and converts your Heart Strike into Vampiric Strike. During this window, you want to spam Vampiric Strike while making sure you don't overcap runic power. Your Apex talent also gives you random rune weapon procs. These procs don't give every offensive benefit, but they still give you the 30% parry. A big part of Blooddecay is buff management. Every Vampiric Strike gives you a stack of Blood Queen, up to 7. Each stack gives 1% haste and increases Heart Strike damage by 5%. And you want to aim for 100% uptime on this by chain pulling. Hemostasis increases damage and healing from Death Strike, so make sure to use Death Strike each time you reach 5 stacks. Tracking all of these buffs in your UI is essential, and if you don't want to deal with setting up an entire UI just to play Blooddecay, you should head over to now.gg. We have custom built UI profiles for all specs and classes in the game, and installing them takes just minutes. And with that said, I wish you the best of luck in your keys this week.